Happy Super Bowl Sunday! I'm just a few minutes late, which is very impressive for me. So I'm just going to wait and see if anybody comes on. Um, okay. Show me again. Okay. Cool. So happy Sunday again. It is a big day for a Philadelphia Eagles fan right here. But before that, let's talk about self-care, because I worked 2 6-day weeks in a row. And although I don't groom 6 days a week, the other 3 days that I did not groom are not any easier for me. And I had made a resolution at the beginning of the year, but not really, because I'm terrible at keeping resolutions, that I would take better care and get some of my health priorities straight. Like, I injured my shoulder in December and it still really hurts. So I do have a doctor's appointment on the 3rd, so that's exciting. But how do you keep those resolutions? Because I see a lot of people, one of my Facebook friends is on an elimination diet and she's killing it. And that's really motivating because, especially if you're not eating well, if you're not taking care of yourself, it's easy to make gains initially. But now we're getting to the 45-ish days past New Year's, right? Give or take. And so how this is kind of like when people usually get their plateau. So like whatever your self-care was, setting boundaries for clients, exercising, dieting, saving money. This is crunch time. This is when it stops sometimes being rewarding, because it was a little easy and a little self-rewarding in the beginning, and now it's not. So I think, because I wanted to tie up loose ends too, was another one of my things for the year. I founded the Pennsylvania State Association back in 2020 during the pandemic, and I literally have done nothing with it. So this year, I actually have a board. I have a vice president that's very motivated to help me. We have a fundraising event planned. I have bylaws that I have not forwarded to them yet, but it's slow steps, right? Because it's unrealistic, and one of my major flaws is that I put myself on an extreme timeline, and I think I can get all of these things done in X amount of time. And when I don't meet my own expectations of myself, I feel bad. Like, I, give up, I get discouraged. I am like, whatever, it's not for me. And I am trying to break that habit, because it's a very, very bad habit to have. So my advice to you is, if you are making self-care resolutions, if you are making whatever kind of self that is, financial, business, education, whatever small steps that you are taking, celebrate them today. Because I think that we're getting to crunch time where it's kind of a habit, but it's also could be demotivating time. There is ample opportunity for us to tell ourselves that it's not worth it, or that we failed something. And it's much, much harder for us to say, I am not where I want to be, but I am making small steps towards it. Because an inch towards your goal is still an inch. A quarter of an inch towards your goal is a quarter of an inch. Celebrate the things that are small progress steps. If you're trying to save and maybe you're not hitting your savings goal, but you resisted buying that thing at the trade show, or that you saw online or Amazon, That's a step towards saving money, even if that's not in the bank account. If you refused one client, stood your ground, and then, let two others slide by your policies, that one client's still progress. When we're changing our bad habits or our visions of ourselves or our limiting thought processes, because we say, I can't do that. That's not true. Anybody can do anything if they put the work in. And that's the thing, it's work. Changing ourselves, changing our habits, it's not easy. It's not supposed to be. Progress is hard. Learning something is hard. I was helping teach one of the girls at my work, one of the women, trying not to say girls, they are women, how to hinge strip yesterday. And I demonstrated some stuff. And she goes to me, she's like, you make this look so easy. And I was like, I've been doing this for 15 years. I've been hand stripping dogs for 15 years. Like I said, you've been doing it for 15 minutes. It's not realistic to be a master at something in the first 5 seconds that you're doing it, or the first 5 years. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes, developing a skill, developing your eye, and there's going to be setbacks. Progress isn't an up, it's not a straight line. It is plateaus. It's declines, slight declines before more gains. And, they tell you that when you're lifting weights, which I used to do a million years ago, before my shoulders and hips were injured. But you can't measure any setback as your failure. One of the bands that I love is Dawes. It's DAWES. So if you're interested, and there's a song and it's like, When My Time Comes. And it talks about like wanting to pay for all of your successes with all your defeats. And that's not how you can measure success. You have to measure success with those small, small steps. So the entire line is, I put all the things that I wanted out of my reach. I wanted to pay for my successes with all my defeats. And that's the thing. When you try to say, I can't do this, or you feel defeated, you're putting the things that you want out of your reach. You're limiting your belief in yourself. And believing in yourself is the number one key to success. Believing you can do it helps you attract all of the things and all of the thought processes that will help you get there. And so no matter what your resolution was, no matter what your goal was, if you're feeling defeated in it right now or a little unsure, trust that you can do this. If you want to do this, you will do this. It's going to be work. There's going to be bad days. There's going to be good days. But you can do this. You have the ability within yourself to reach for any goal. It's just putting in the work for yourself. And that is completely fine. And that it's going to feel like struggle some days. And it's going to feel like victories others. And one day, it's hard to see all those little tiny steps we make every day when we choose ourselves. But they add up. And maybe it's 6 months from now, the thing that you did today that was a little tiny step, and you're like, whatever, this isn't going to count. But if you did that every day for 6 months, it counts. It's going to change. It's going to get you to the place that you want to be. So I leave you with that advice. And just remember to I've been told, or people have thrown the word positive around a lot this week. And I just want you to think about this. You don't have to be positive all the time. You can be optimistic. I'm positive I have lost my cell phone. I am positive I'm going to forget something when I go to Pasadena. Positivity and being positive about something is not the same as being optimistic or hopeful. So you can be unsure of where you're going. You can be unsure that this is the right path, and you can still be optimistic. Being unsure or realistic does not mean that you're a negative person. It doesn't mean that you're a pessimist. It doesn't mean anything. Having hope things get better. Asking yourself, what can I do to make this better? That's hope, right? Because you don't think that this is the best it's going to get. And you don't, and that is a statement of that half glass full, half glass empty, right? Because a pessimist thinks this is as good as it's going to get. And somebody that is positive knows that this is as good as it's going to get, right? They think this is as good as it's going to get. But I think everything can be better. And I think you can be better if you want it. And we have to work for things. We have to work for things to be better, because this isn't as good as it's going to get. It's only going to get better. So, sparkle friends, just march down that path towards your dreams and don't look back. Put on your shiny shoes and believe you can do it, because I know you can. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. I hope you're rooting for the Birds, and if you're not, that's okay. We'll see how it shakes out later. Bye, guys.